Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I'm your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels. Today we are assembling the Dreamer Fast Asleep 4th edition box. This is a replication of the core box from 3rd edition. So it'll contain the typical things found in a core box: a version of a master, a totem, usually a named model, either a henchman or an enforcer, and then 3 minions, which is what we have here. Box contains the Dreamer Fast Asleep, this gentleman here. His totem, Lord Chompy Bits, Dreamlord in this case, because he's got a different version as well. Coppelius, the named model, this squid-faced man, and then 3 Alps, this being one of them. There's our artwork, renders on the back. Dreamer is going to come with an additional model on his base. They referred to as a dog on the sprue. It's a dog, I guess. I'm going to guess that's probably optional, but we'll obviously assemble both of them. Lord Chompy Bits being the big centerpiece model right here, with the rocking the dad bod. I can relate. Coppelius and the 3 Alps. All right, that's our box. Let's look at our sprues. Here are our sprues, 2 very full sprues. So easy to identify them. It is, oh goodness, they're stuck together. It is Lord Chompy Bits on this sprue and literally everything else on this one. So we are going to go ahead and do the Dreamer first, which is right here, as well as the dog. They put both of them on the same sprue and mixed up the bits, so we're going to do some identifying. But why don't we go ahead and look at the instructions for these 2 models as one model, which I think also includes Coppelius and Lord Chompy Bits. Okay, close-up of the sprue. We're going to start by building the Dreamer himself. So we'll grab his body, do his other leg, do the portion of his right arm, followed by the cricket bat and his hand. Then we'll do his left arm and finish with his head. Then for the dog, we'll grab the body of the dog. We'll do the back 2 legs, the front 2 legs, the tail, and then combine the 2 halves of the head and add that on, and we'll be done. So let's grab this bit and this bit and begin. All right, here is our body and our leg. Just gonna click glue back in here. Okay, leg is in. There's our seam. Next up, let's do the upper half of the right arm. Gonna glue right in there. Alright. Seam on the shoulder looks great. Alright, next up, gonna be the cricket bat. And it's gonna contact right here, which will connect to his hand. And I think there's a connection point right here on the shoulder, but we'll see. Yeah, I was correct. That right there is where it connects to his shoulder. Okay, 1 cricket bat installed. Now let's do the left hand holding up what appears to be a rude gesture. Focus on seam. All good. Now let's add his head. Alright, Dreamer's all done. Let's sit him down, review the dog one more time. I'll do body, back right leg, back left leg, front right leg, front left leg, at least I think that's left and right. Then the tail and the 2 halves of the head, and attach that to the body. So let's start with the body. Okay, here is our body. This is the head, and the tail will be back here. So let's do our front left leg first, which is going to go right in here. Our back left leg, my bad. That's right. I'm sorry, I get my right and left mixed up sometimes, like most people. This is our back right leg. Okay. That doesn't have a whole lot of surface area to connect to. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to attach the tail next, because it looks like the tail will have additional stuff for the legs to connect to. So tail's going to go right there, and that bit, if you forgot, is this one. Okay. Took a little bit of nudging because that back leg was still loose, but I got it to a point where the seam is not too bad. Okay, now let's do the back left leg right there. Okay. Back left leg is in, so let's move on to our front right leg. Slid in there just fine. So now let's do the front left leg. It's a bulky dog. Alright, set the body down and combine the two halves of the head, starting, I guess, with, the left half and the right half. That nice hole is just going to fit right on this peg. Alright. We have a dog. We have a dreamer, and dreamers... Doesn't know what a dog actually looks like. Anyway, let's put him on a base. The Dreamer, fast asleep, is done. Mod was relatively simple. Both the Dreamer himself and the dog had a little bit of difficulty getting the dog to fit on the base and wrap that tail around the Dreamer's legs, but the dog is completely optional, so you don't really have to worry about it. Hardest part for him, maybe positioning that bat on his shoulder. Well, no, figuring out the back half of the dog was a little weird, but it's kind of hard to say that he's a part of the model. I guess he is. Yeah, the back half of the dog, we'll say that's the hard part. But overall, relatively simple compared to a lot of stuff I've had to do, so I'm not going to complain. Let's move on to the totem. Alright, Lord Chompy Bits got a decent chunk of bits, but he's also huge, so nothing in here is tiny and going to be easy to lose. Unlike the instructions, I'm just going to add the two halves of the body together first, and then we'll do the crotch flap, the butt flap, then we'll do the two front arms, which I think is this one, the two back arms, which is these two, and then I don't immediately remember what all these extra... Oh, this is part of the head, so we'll combine all the pieces of the head, but at some point these bits need to go in there. I think this one down here goes right there, but I'll call it as I see it, because everything's big and chunky. Shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Right, two halves of the body. Alright, here's the big boy's body, the back of the big boy's body. Now let's add the front of the big boy's body. Alright. Seam looks pretty good for a giant model. Sometimes the seams can be pretty bad on these, but it looks like we are good so far. Okay. Now let's try the crotch flap, the one with the dangly chain. It's gonna, you see that tooth right there? It's gonna connect on the thigh. Okay, there we go. Now let's cover his indecent butt. Exact same situation. Got a nice tooth right there that goes into the leg. Okay, back butt flap is on. Okay, let's get to work on the hands. Oofda. So we'll go ahead and do our front left hand first, or I think that's the right hand. Do the front right hand and then the front left hand down here. These guys. Okay. That's our seam. Now let's do the left arm, hands, front arm, hands. I'm tired, okay? Okay, not too bad of a seam. We got his hands on. Now, before we do the back arms, let's go ahead and get this piece in. It is the only, like, odd out piece. Everything else in this array of small bits is a part of the head, so this is the one we're adding. Okay. Shoulder is now complete. Let's do our first big arm. This is the one that is the open hand, the right arm, the back, the higher right arm. I mean, I guess we can just align the tooth up with the hole, right? Do it correctly, actually, you idiot. Yeah, like that. Alright. Shoulder joint looks real good. Now let's do the other arm. Okay. Not too bad. Alright, let's set the body down and then put our head together. So we've got bottom jaw, the looks like the right side of the face, the left side of the face, and then the top of the head. Let's do them in that order. No, we're not doing them in that order. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the top of the head. We're going to add the, not actually the bottom of the head, really just the face to that, and then we can do the horns on either side. So glue these two together. Okay, those are together now. Let's go ahead, and I don't remember which one I said this was. I forgot that the horns are actually pointed forward on the head, so this one is going to go in this side. I can just dry fit them right now. They slot in already. And the other one will just go in like that. That's what the head looks like. So glue those two on. Okay, all four pieces of the head are together, and that's what it looks like on the bottom. But we have this big old hole on the neck, so that's where we can slot the head on, like so. So just glue that now, and he's done. So I'm just not going to show you a glue. We're just gonna put on a base, okay? Large Chompy bits is stinking huge, big boy. Hardest part for him, that shoulder piece. Yeah, that shoulder piece, because it didn't really go in well for me initially, so I had to do some trimming on it. You might not have to, you might not care, but that one didn't really fit quite right by itself. Might have just been an issue with the sprue, not sure, but everything else is big, chunky, and easy to assemble, so really hard to complain about that. Let's move on to the unique model. Okay, Coppelius. Only got 6 bits. It's gonna be great. Go away, fly. Grab the body, do the back, the coat, the back of the coat, and then we'll add the bag full of eyes to his waist, followed by his left arm and his right arm, and then his tentacle facey bits. Piece 1 and 2, let's do those first. Alright, there's the body. Now I'd flip it over and slap the coat on the back. Alright, it's thicker than I thought. Okay, next our bag of eyes. I'm going to fit right in here. Obviously, the open top with the eyes is going to be up, but this side right here, you can see it's nice and flat. That is our connection point to the hip, so I'm just going to go like that. Whoops. Okay, bag of eyes is attached. Now let's go ahead and do the left arm right there. Okay. You can probably glue the hand onto the box or bag as well. With that arm then, now let's do the right arm. Alright, looks good. Now finish off with the tentacles that go in this hole in the face. Okay, tentacles in. He's good. Let's put him on a base. Coppelius is completed. Another relatively simple model. Hardest part for him was, I guess, squishing the tentacle bits up there into his face. And I guess figuring out the orientation of the bag full of eyeballs, but that's not too terribly difficult. Right, let's move on to the minions. Okay, here are our Alps. There's 3 of them. The markings A, B, and C. The divider for each of them is right here between A and B, and right here between B and C. It looks like their labeling matches that on the instructions, so let's go ahead and look at those right now. Alright, for our first Alp, we're going to grab the entire body and then add the one back leg followed by the tail. Then we'll go ahead and do the left arm, the right arm, and the eyes, ears, and horns. Okay, so let's start with these 2 bits. Okay, here's our body. Now let's add the leg right there. Leg is attached. Now let's do the tail right there. That is the angle you're wanting to go for, so you can sit flat on the ground with the tail touching the ground as well. Now let's do the left arm right there. Looks like the arm is sweeping back a bit. There's the seam. Alright, and I just knocked it out. Well, good job. Let's do the right arm now. That is a real weird way to hold your arm, but it's also going to be on the ground. So keep that in mind. I had to twist it a little bit before I figured out exactly how it goes in. Alright, now let's add the horns and eyes and ears. Going right up there. Okay. Went on just fine. Okay, let's put them in a base. Our first Alp is completed, and I looked up what an Alp was, and it is apparently from German folklore. It is akin to an elf. Think like Keebler elf, not Tolkien elf, but, you know, sinister and stuff, because it's German folklore. So, in honor of that, we're going to call this one Carl. Yeah. Hardest part for him, besides me jumping the gun and trying to assemble other bits before he was completely cured, would probably have to be the orientation of that right arm. Everything else was relatively, I mean, the whole thing was still pretty simple. I'm kind of searching for stuff to complain about here, but yeah, I'd say the right arm. I don't know if I said left or right. It's the right arm. That was slightly weird. Admittedly, it's at a weird angle, so can you really blame me? Okay, enough rambling. Let's move on to the next one. Our second Alp is the one with the most bits, sadly. But it still doesn't seem like it's going to be too hard. We'll grab the torso and add it to the legs, followed by the tail, and then the lower legs. I think this one is our left and this is our right. I'll double check and make sure and tell you. And once we're done with that, we can do the left arm, the right arm, combine both halves of the head and put the head on the body. Okay, so let's grab these two bits first. Here's our torso and our thighs, pelvis, whatever are going to attach down here. It's got two sides. This is the one with the hole in it is where the tail's going to go. So this is what's going to attach to the torso, like so. Alright. Pelvis and thighs are on, so let's go ahead and add that tail. Oh, hello. There's a cat behind me. Looks like the tail is going between the two legs, so it's going to make adding the legs a little weird. Let me go figure out which one is which. Alright, looks like the knees are pointing slightly outward on the mini, so this one is going to be our left leg, and this one is going to be our right leg. Let's do the left leg first. Left leg is in. I had to just keep pushing that knee further to the left until it went in without a seam. Looks good. Let's do that right leg. Okay, right leg is in. Let's go and do the left arm, the one with the open hand. Alright, now the right arm with the closed fist. Cool. Now let's grab one half of our head and glue the other half on top of it. Okay, I think this one you actually probably could have just glued it onto the neck individually. But we did it this way, so I did it this way. You don't have to do it this way. Let's just add it onto the body, shall we? Yeah, scratch that. This is the way you should have done it because mine ended up being not quite flush with the neck, so we added the left side of the head, the right side of the head. Now let's add the left side. There we be. Alp number 2 is done. Let's put them on a base. Our second Alp is done. We're going to call this one Gustav. Hardest part for him, well, he was the most complicated out of all the Alps, and figuring out how the head was supposed to go on was a bit of a pain. And the little tiny legs was also not terribly fun, but once they figured out which side each went on, wasn't too hard to install. But yeah, definitely, almost definitely the most difficult of the Alps. I cannot see the next one being difficult at all, but let's move on to that one. Our third Alp is the simplest, so hooray for that. We're going to grab the two halves of the body, put them together, do the tail, and then I think we might assemble the two halves of the head and attach that. Well, I could be wrong. I'll let you know later, but let's start with these two bits. Okay, I grabbed this one first. This, I believe, is the right side of the model, so let's add the left side. Okay, cool. Now let's go and add that tail right there on the butt. Tail is attached. Probably squish that seam closed a little bit better, but okay, I think we can probably actually just add the lower jaw first and then the upper jaw head part. This is the lower jaw. It's actually more of the model's chest and then a bit of the jaw, so that's just going to go right up in here. Yeah, I'll just glue that. Bleh. Okay, let's do the top of the head. Okay. Yeah, he's good. Let's put him on a base. Our third Alp is done. We're going to call this one Ludwig. The simplest out of the three of them, no real difficult parts, but if I had to say one, it would be the top of the head, just because it's the smallest bit, and I dropped it once. That's really it. Let's review the whole box. The Dreamer Fast Asleep core box is done, containing Dreamer Fast Asleep, Lord Chompy bits, Dreamlord, yeah, that's his title, Coppelius, and 3 Alps. Goodness, Chompy is huge. Doesn't fit in frame. Right, a relatively simple box. Not a lot of complaints here, but a lot of the modern stuff was relatively simplified and made easier. Hardest part for me was some of the smaller bits on Dreamer and trying to thread the tail of the dog around his legs so that both fit on the base. And that's really it. Pretty simple. No complaints. In a very, very pretty box. I can understand why this is one of the most popular masters for people starting the game and in general. It looks real good. So, I've been Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. Sweet dreams.